Hi, 7th graders. We have 2 example problems that you're going to try on your own, or I'm going to do, and then you're going to try on your own, and then review problems in general for the benchmark. So here's our first problem. Negative 4 and 2/10 x times the quantity 2 minus 3x minus 2 and 5/10 x. So to start this problem, it's just simple distribution, except for this time I see decimals, which is fine. We know how to do that. So negative 4.2 times 2, a negative times a positive will give me a negative. Then I can do 4 and 2/10 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. My decimal point goes right there. So this is negative 8 and 4/10. And then we also need to distribute times the second one. So a negative times a negative will give me a positive. And I have 4 and 2/10 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. The decimal point goes right here. So it's 12 and 6/10. And now we have to be careful to not forget this x. And the last thing is negative 2 and 5/10 x. So I can start looking to see if any of my answers are equivalent to that. I don't see anything like this yet, so I'm going to start combining these two terms. I will combine negative 2 and 5/10 x with 12 and 6/10 x. So if I subtract 2 and 5/10, that's 1. When I combine these two terms, I get 10 and 1/10 x. And then my negative 8.4, I can't combine with anything because there's no other just numbers. So I will look on my paper and I see that problem A looks just like this, so I'm going to circle A. Now there may be more than one answer. If you look through, you can check out B and C. They're obviously not correct. One of them has this being positive and this being positive, and the last one doesn't have the correct value for x. For your x's. So you can cross off B and C. Those are not going to be the answers. D or E, though, might also be one of the correct answers. So I'm just going to keep in the back of my mind that A is my answer when it's simplified, right? When it's combined together. If I take a look at D, D says negative 8.4, which matches what I should have, negative 8.4. And then it has negative x times the quantity 12.6 minus 2.5. Now, this looks a lot like this. So I want to see, is this something that I want to work with? This is exactly what it should look like, 12.6 minus 2.5. And this would be perfect if I was substituting in just an x, because that would make x go here and go here. But the problem is you're not distributing just an x, you are distributing a negative x, or a negative 1x. So that would make this negative, and this would become positive, and these two don't end up matching. So D is not one of our correct answers. Let's take a look at E. We have negative 8.4 plus x times the quantity 12.6 minus 2.5. This looks better. Again, my 12.6 and my minus 2.5 match. And this time I have a positive x that I want to distribute. So 1x times 12.6, so 1 times 12.6 is 12.6, and then I'll add an x, and it's positive. Now 1 times negative 2.5 is negative 2.5, and I'll add an x. Remember, I can view this as it has an invisible coefficient of a 1. So E is the other correct answer. It comes to the same answer as this one, it's just not as simplified. There's still parentheses, and it's still another step. So our correct answers are A and E. For the one that you do by yourself, there will also be 2 correct answers. The last one we're going to do is example 2, because I know I had put this on review problems and people were getting it incorrect, so I thought we should go over it. We have negative 50 ABC minus 10 AC plus 30 AB. Make sure you can see that. Okay, and it's asking which of the following expressions, what your answer choices are, factors of this. So factors mean something that they all have in common. So like if I had the numbers 5 and 10, the common factor, they would have a 5 in common, and that's it. If I had 4 and 12, they would have a common factor of 4, they'd have a common factor of 2. Meaning both of them could be divided by 4 and 2. Both of these could be divided by 5. So you're looking for what's common in all of these. So we can start going through. I see 4 as my first possible answer. Well, I know that 10 is not divisible by 4 and 30 is not divisible by 4, so it can't be A. B says 25. 10 is not divisible by 25, so that's not a factor. 5. 50 is divisible by 5, 10 is divisible by 5, and 30 is divisible by 5. And these negatives don't really matter because negative 50 is divisible by 5 and positive 50 is divisible by 5. So C is one of my correct answers. These are all divisible by 5. Now I'll keep going. 2C. Well, I need to look. This is divisible by 2. 50 is dividable. You can divide 50 by 2, and there's a C in it. This you can divide by 2, and there's a C in it. This you can divide by 2, but there's no C. So C is not a common factor throughout all three of these. So that one is, D is not correct. E, 2BC. Again, this is divisible by 2 and has a BC. This is divisible by 2, but doesn't have BC, so that can't be it. Next one is 2A. This is divisible by 2 and A. This is divisible by 2 and A. And this is also divisible by 2 and A. Each of them have an A in it, and they're all even numbers. So F is also correct. So right now we have C and we have F. And the last one, ABC. This has ABC. This just has AC, so I know that last one can't be true. So C and F are our answers for that one. It's just what all of these factors or all of this expression, what all the pieces of it have in common. So you have the next two problems, which are a review of example 1 and example 2. And then you have the last 3 problems, which are just a general benchmark review. For the next 2 problems, you are not allowed to use your calculator, but for the other benchmark review, you can Google calculator and use it on your computer. Good luck.